Well, thank you for joining me for this video tour of the property. This is 40 acres on Mason Lodge Road in Greene County, Tennessee. There is more information than this available at my website, which is larrysellsland.com, but this will give you an overview of the property. First, let's start looking at Google Earth. I've typed in the GPS coordinates here, and so let's go ahead and zero in. We are looking at eastern Tennessee here. In fact, I'll zoom out a little bit to give you a little bit of reference point. This is the parcel we're going to be looking at. And for now, let me show you that the parcel lines run approximately up this ridge, across there, comes down to about here, and then back down along the road. Let's see if I can give you a little different perspective here. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. So as you're coming, this is Fish Hatchery Road coming in here, and this is Mason Lodge Road. And so the first thing we're going to notice is this area right here has a little bit of a crest to it, but it is relatively flat and looks like a wonderful place to be able to build your house. This is plenty of room to be able to build a custom home. As you can see, this area of the property is as big as that and all of that, so it's a nice size slice right there. In fact, if we could see buildings better, we'd see that there is a dilapidated barn about right here. We'll show you that in a moment. And this is Mason Lodge Road, and it continues on back. And the property line for this runs about this far and then heads up this hill and across. So this is not part of your parcel, but I'll back up a little bit and give you a view. On the back side of this mountain where you do own is open pasture area that is used for farming. And Mason Lodge Road heads along the back here. And actually Mason Lodge Road has an intersection with itself right here. There's a house here, and then it continues this way and comes all the way back out around and meets up with Fish Hatchery Road again. There's a community center right here. The Mason Lodge is right here, and then you could actually make the circle, come all the way back, and catch your property again. So as you can see, although there are neighbors on the other side quite a bit, this stretch through here doesn't have many neighbors, so there's not a lot of traffic on this road. So it's pretty peaceful and pretty quiet. There's two major areas to be able to build on the property. The first one would be this flat spot right here. It's beautiful in there. There's an old barn right here, probably right there. And you can decide whether to leave it because it looks like it has a lot of character and charm, or you might decide to harvest it for weathered wood. So if you're going to build a large building, this would probably be the ideal place. If you want to be more secluded, then you might come about halfway back on the property. This is about where the property line heads up and goes like that. So this valley is yours. And I've only walked in just a little ways on this valley, but as you can see, this valley goes on up and then seems to broaden out and be broader right here. And so if you want to be out of view of the road, quiet and secluded between two hillsides that you own like this, this might be the sweet spot right there. So I'll let you decide about that. Just for a little more perspective, this is our parcel. This is, I believe that is the Green River. I could be wrong, but I think that's right. And if you follow Fish Hatchery Road all the way, catch Highway 81. And this is approximately halfway between Knoxville and the Tri-Cities area. Knoxville being down here. Like there's probably Knoxville. So let's look a little more in depth here. First, this gives us a little more perspective. Our property is right here in the red spot, but you can see Asheville, North Carolina on the other side of the Blue Ridge Mountains here. You can see Knoxville, you can see the Tri-Cities area. And as we look and zoom in, this is the closest medium-sized town here is Morristown. And then there we see Fish Hatchery Road. So Fish Hatchery Road comes on down, and then where there's a turn off of that, and that is Mason Lodge Road. So this should give you a little bit of an idea of that topography that we were trying to interpret with Google Earth. So you can come up this road. This is that valley, and there's where it seems to broaden out a little bit in the middle of your parcel. This map is also useful for something else. In a moment, I should be able to, yeah, there we go. We can see, of course, a street map view. We can see the imagery, and you can see all the farming that's happening around your area, but not on your parcel. And on this other map, not only can we see the aerial photography, we zoom into the parcel there, but we can also look at the flood map, because there is a flood zone in the area, and there's a lot of flood zone around your parcel. I gotta go a little closer to see that. There we go. However, the flood zone does not touch your parcel. So it's all along the river here, and then some of the farmland out back. But you don't have any concerns about flooding there according to the flood map, so that's a nice thing. Next, let's look at some photographs. We'll start with, this is the intersection of Fish Hatchery Road to Mason Lodge Road. You turn left on that little street, follow along, and after about 2/10 of a mile, you will come across this barn, which is on your parcel. This is a dilapidated old barn, has a lot of character. In fact, I took a picture on the inside showing that a lot of it was built with wood that was harvested on this property. And I don't think it's usable, serviceable building as it is, but it'd be a great source of some weathered wood, maybe some usable timbers, or maybe you just decide to live there because it looks gorgeous. Here's part of that open area to the other side of the barn. And again, you can't see in there very much because in the summertime, this is all filled with leaves of small trees. You'll get to clear what you want, determine how close you would like trees to come around your custom home. If you continue further down the road, this is the kind of view that you get to drive on every day. Can you imagine coming home from a hard day of work and traveling down this road and arriving at this, which is the place where the two mountains come together and create that little valley, and this is the opening to the valley right here. I've got a few shots of this because I took this picture in the wintertime. This is in the spring. It's starting to fill in a little bit. Again, we're at that same, pretty much the same spot. Here it is in late spring, and it is filling in more. It's harder to see back into the valley. The valley goes quite a ways back. And then here it is in summertime. Again, going in there is just harder to see through some of this foliage, but you can see the light there as it heads up the valley in between the two. This is in the wintertime. I've walked in a little ways into the valley and took a picture around. Here's another photograph. Another one getting back closer to the road. This is that farmland to the north of your property. This is not your property. And this is that intersection of Mason Lodge Road with Mason Lodge Road furthest north before it turns east and comes back around to Fish Hatchery Road. This picture shows us that this is your level spot between the two mountains that we had several photographs from. And I took this picture because this is the proximity to that power pole right there. So it looked like a pretty close drop to be able to add power to this valley if that's something that you want to do. And then finally, this is again showing the approximate position of that power pole to the little valley and on up the larger wide spot. I think that's what I've got to show you here, except for the website. So let's go ahead and go to the website. And this is Larry Sells Land, and if you look to view properties and click on 40 acres Greene County, you get here. And as you scroll down, you get information about the property. This is actually a little video with some drone footage of the surrounding area. Photographs that I've shown you and some more that I haven't shown you yet. You can take a look there, giving you some more maps and information about the property, as well as how to be able to get there, details about the property, a little bit about the area, the distance to the conveniences. This is nicely placed. You are not in the city, but it is not a long drive to get to the conveniences that you'll want. It's a little bit about us, the GPS coordinates, how you look up more information, including property taxes. We paid the property taxes are current. Talks about the elevation about 1,600 feet above sea level. We bought it with title insurance. A partner and I own this together. This is a cash sale. If you're interested in financing, we don't finance, but Lightstream.com does finance. So I encourage you might explore that if that's important to you. We have a couple ways for you to be able to buy it. If you want to just pay cash for the deed, we can set up a deed for you. Exchange that for a cashier's check for the property, and the property will be yours. That's fast and simple. Most people will choose to do option number 2, especially if they have an interest in having title insurance. Option 2 is what you will have to do. And title insurance will be important if you ever decide to get a mortgage on the property in order to be able to build a home. The mortgage company is going to require you to have title insurance, and this is the right time to get that if that's something you anticipate doing. We talk a little bit about you should do your own diligence on this. I've given you information to make it as easy as possible for you to explore. The properties I have are below market value. The reason is because I shop hard and only find a few properties each year, but I put them up here. I've bought them at such a bargain that I can resell them still with a discount off of what the normal retail will be. And finally, if you want to go ahead and purchase the property, you can click right here to download a purchase agreement, and you would save that agreement. Here's a copy. Whoops. I'm going to cancel that so that we can see what the agreement is. Here's what you'll find. A simple agreement between you and I of purchasing the property. Fill in your contact information here, put a date, sign it, and you can send this to me by fax, phone, or you could mail it to me. And we'll put the property in escrow and get the property transferred so that this property will be yours. So that's a quick tour of the property. I hope you like the idea of being able to drive out into the country to go to your home or a summer cabin if that's what you prefer, or maybe it's a private campground for your family. Whatever you decide to do with the property, you are out and away from the rest of the civilization, but you have access to civilization when you need it. You can find more information at the website, larrysellsland.com. Once you have read the information that I've provided, and by the way, in the webpage, I've told you everything I know about the property. So if you've read that, you know most of what I know. But if you have a question or a clarification that you need to make, give me a phone call. I'd be happy to talk to you about this. Also, while you're at larrysellsland.com, please look. I have other properties there for sale, and I'm always adding property here and there that I pick up, and so you might look at those also. And I would encourage you to look at this not only with you in mind, but you may know a friend or a relative that this may be perfect for. Feel free to share the website, larrysellsland.com. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me here, and I hope that you find everything that you're looking for.